Fred Wellman is a retired Army officer. He served 22 years as an aviator and public affairs officer, including 4 combat tours. He currently is the CEO and founder of ScoutComms, a certified B Corporation focused entirely on supporting veterans, military families, and the organizations that empower them. Correspondent Charles McGraffrey has this interview.
Hey Fred, thanks so much for coming out for Business in the Brewery, our master class that we've been running for the military community.
It's fun.
So talk a little bit about how you got here. So in particular, what did you do in the military that translated over into starting ScoutComms?
Yep. Well, the majority of my career was spent as an aviator. I was a helicopter pilot and operations officer. And then later in my career, during OIF 1, during Iraq 1, I had the good fortune to work with local civilians. I did quite a bit of media. And I'm pretty good at talking on camera, as it turns out. So General Petraeus at the time said, hey, you've got a talent for that. We're going to make you a public affairs officer. So I spent the latter part of my career as a public affairs officer. So when I got out of the Army, going into public relations was just a natural fit. And then when I had a job for about a year, it wasn't a great fit. And I decided to start my own company. There was just, starting a PR firm was the right direction to go for me. Here we are 8 years later.
Right. So, you know, one of the things that I try to work with and try to figure out for my veteran clients is, how do you know when to stick with an idea and how do you know when to pivot? Any advice you want to give on that?
Well, I always, I tell every entrepreneur who's going to pay for it, right? It always starts that even a nonprofit or for-profit, you've got to figure out who your customer is, who's going to write your checks. And too often, I think we go into business with this optimistic viewpoint that this amazing product's going to just soar, or this location's going to work. I had a friend who started a restaurant next to Geico headquarters in Stafford, Virginia, and she was fully expecting that all the Geico employees would come right over and eat lunch at her restaurant, which is a great theory, except Geico feeds their employees free lunch every day. And so if she'd done some really good market research, she would have discovered that there is no market there, and unfortunately she fell apart. But look at the rest of my story. I land in Iraq, I land at Key West Air Base. I'm the battalion S3 for a Black Hawk battalion. And one day, this old man and a kid show up at our gate. My gate is a pilot with a pistol, very, very secure, because it's May of '03 and we just got there. I didn't have a fence because they looted it. And they said, hey, here's a note. Hey, dear Americans, we need water and we need the bullets to stop falling in our village. Because it turns out my friends in the infantry set up a range facing the village because, hey, bullets stop, right? And so the bullets were landing in the village. So I go out, I talk my boss to let me go out, and the next thing you know, I'm running 23 villages. Actually, I visited 47 villages. I built 23 schools. I built 2 clinics. I was a building inspector. I learned that you can't pay for a whole building up front because you'll get a sandcastle. Okay? No, you pay for the foundation, and then you have them rebuild it when they screw it up, and then you pay for the walls. And I did all this with exactly 0 training in civil affairs, right? Because the great thing the military does teach you, especially the American military, is figure out, right? And I got that in Ranger School, pouring down rain. I always tell stories. I don't know if you've heard my story. So I was at Ranger School. I was the oldest guy in my class. I went as a captain because I'm a glutton for punishment, as an aviator. And 1993, Appalachian Trail, pouring down rain. I wasn't even in charge. It's just a Joe. If you know Ranger School, you rotate jobs. Any Ranger? So you rotate squad leaders. So this kid leads us into a draw. We're stuck, and it's pouring down rain. Everybody's tired, laying down to sleep. Next thing I hear, Wellman, you're up. Runner, what's going on, Sergeant? Your platoon sergeant, get us out of here. Okay. All right, we are stuck in a draw. We're supposed to be on top of that hill. Go up the hill. That was my plan, right? So I started kicking guys up the hill, up the hill. All right, I'm running around. Grab everybody, go. Your lead, go up the hill. And I made a plan. I sent them off. And I remember I was running around. I got physically lifted off my feet because I'm a little dude by my rucksack. And I turn around. There's 2 RIs standing in front of me. And I look at these 2 Ranger instructors like, Ranger, what are you doing? I said, Sergeant, I'm getting us the hell out of this hole. I'm getting us up that hill before my guys drown. And they looked at each other and they're like, you know what? Ranger's got a plan. Carry on. And the lesson was, just take charge and go. And sometimes all people want to know is you have a plan and you're going to execute it, right? And that's how much of that is business. I've got an idea. My entire company was built driving down I-95. Now that's a long time, but the idea was crystallized sitting in the 95 traffic saying, you know what, there's an idea, I put it together, I did some quick research, I figured out what I can do, I discovered there was a niche, and I aggressively pursued it. Those are all business skills. Those are skills I learned as an Army officer. Take your mission, aggressively pursue it, Pivot when it's wrong, because like we always say, the enemy gets a vote, and that's customers. And I always tell young entrepreneurs, who's going to write a check? Oh, I got this great plan, Fred. I'm going to do blah, 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 blah. I'm like, that is awesome. Who's going to pay for it? Oh, man, everybody. That's awesome. Who's going to pay for it? Boeing. No, Boeing's not going to pay for it. Nonprofits are the worst. Nonprofits, every nonprofit on earth is like Boeing. Every veteran nonprofit, Boeing. I look at them like, do you even know anybody at Boeing? Because I do, and they ain't giving you any money because everybody thinks they show them money, you know? They're giving money to the freaking Army Museum in Fort Belvoir. Trust me, 1/3 of Boeing's charitable giving is tied up in that freaking museum. Guess what the other 1/3 is? Quantico. And the other 1/3, Air Force. They're not giving you money. And so, again, pivot. So my story, the B Corps, for example, I have the 5th largest PR firm in America coming at me. I can't beat them. I can pivot. So don't go at them. Go around them.